Hello, everybody, and welcome. Appreciate you guys joining today's webinar on SafetyHQ and how it can help your crew out in the job site. We'll hold on for 1 minute. I see there's still some folks trickling in here, so we'll just get started here in about 90 seconds or so, but thanks so much for your patience and looking forward to getting started. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you guys taking the time to learn some more about SafetyHQ. My name is Eric Vitardi over here at Foundation Software Headquarters, where we are going to be giving you guys a little bit of a preview today of how SafetyHQ can help your crews out on the job site. So, for those of you that are not familiar, SafetyHQ is our safety compliance and management app. It is a progressive web app that we can use on our iPhone, Android, tablet, whatever the team's using out in the field. So I guess that's number one on how we can help the team in the field, is giving them a mobile solution to work from. As that works, you'll see this will scale down, get smaller, larger based on the screen. We can use this in offline mode if they download and use the app. So if you guys are working in some areas with limited cell service or what have you, no worries. SafetyHQ can still offer you all the pieces and parts that we're looking for as far as trying to help that team out there on the job site. So a lot of what I'm going to be focusing on today is going to be some features of SafetyHQ, and we're going to kind of frame it on the perspective of how does this work for our team, you know, that's out actually physically on the site. There's a whole bunch that we can get into as far as like administratively, and that gets into reviewing, you know, who's completed Toolbox talks. I want to see attendance records of everyone. I want to see, you know, leading indicators. I want to see some reporting on this. I want to see reporting on that. We have all those tools. We're probably not going to dig into those as much today, simply because we want to focus on essentially the application for the team out there on the site. So if you're looking for more of that information, if you don't get quite all that you're looking for here today, I would be happy to meet with you one-on-one. We have some more resources that we can share with you. Also, just feel free to give us a buzz. Again, my name is Eric Vitardi. I can be reached at EDV Echo Delta Victor at foundationsoft.com, or just give us a call at the 800 number, ask for Eric, or say you want to learn more about SafetyHQ, and we can certainly get into more detail from there. But without further ado, SafetyHQ. I've kind of mentioned how that this is a mobile application, how we can use this out in the field to save some time and effort. The big pieces that we really want to focus on, especially regardless of where you're at in the safety program, but especially if you're newer to a mobile field solution for safety. The biggest issues that we see and the biggest issues that we try and address with SafetyHQ are a few things. Number one, we want to make safety simple and easy for people to address, review, document, what have you. If the safety process is more difficult than what they are doing right now, so I guess if you're starting from square one and you're not doing anything, you can't overcomplicate the team with something that's going to be too difficult right out of the gate. You want to either start with some small pieces, start with one section or the other. That's if you're going on paper. If you're going to use something like a tool like SafetyHQ, a digital solution, you can take on more items. You can implement Toolbox talks and safety forums and all those things at one time. But the key is making them simple and easy to use. And we'll touch that here in a second when we actually discuss form fills and how we ask questions, things along those lines. The other big component is we want everything readily accessible, right? If OSHA comes on the site, heaven forbid, We want to make sure that we can provide all of our answers, all of our information for them, quickly, efficiently, and in an organized fashion. That makes a huge difference for our clients that get, that have a pop-up inspection or maybe something occurs. Being able to present that information quickly, efficiently, and effectively makes all of the difference. It shows that your safety program's in good standing, that you do put time and effort into this, that it means a lot to the company. And as you guys have met, maybe it's one inspector to the next. Either way, having that component right out of the gate really reframes how that entire inspection or review is going to go. So have that readily accessible and easily reviewable if needed. And then the last piece we want to do is we want it all in one place. We don't want you guys to have to bounce around from one thing. I got, my forms in one section for my site inspection, and my toolbox talks are over here. I got a paper toolbox talk on the floor of my truck, but my inspection is, I took photos of this and it's in one document over here, and we save it on this stored file, and the Excel sheets being used over here for certifications, whatever. SafetyHQ's goal is to bring all of that into one roof here, make it simple and easy to utilize. So for those of you guys that are foundation software clients, it's even more all in one roof, because we can, we have some additional integration benefits that I'd be happy to speak with you further on, integrating with your foundation software or integrating with payroll for construction. However, we have a good chunk, almost more than probably about 50% that are not foundation software users too. So you're good either way, regardless of your background. But let's jump right in. I like to use Toolbox Talks as a quick example, because this tends to be one of the most universally accepted or completed safety practices out in the field. And we're on a short time limit today, guys. I'm going to try and keep this as short as I can. I know we're over the lunch hour and what have you. We're scheduled for 30. We might go a hair over, but really going to hit some top level items for these. What makes SafetyHQ really cool, we got 150 plus Toolbox Talks. You can add your own if there's some content that's really relevant to you, maybe a near miss occurs. That's a really big component, right? If something occurs and you want to educate the team on multiple sites, SafetyHQ gives you that ability to do so in real time. Maybe a near miss occurs on a site, you want to write something up and remind everybody on the team. You could have that new Toolbox Talk or that new item assigned and addressed out to everybody within minutes, however long it takes you to, put the content together, or just simply grab one of ours. So keeping the team up to date is extremely critical to avoid certain injuries. We notice that a lot, during the middle of the summer when we talk about heat stress, what have you. If you have an incident or a near miss and you want to notify the team about, heat safety, whatever, that's a perfect example to really, drive that home to the team. But the nice piece is I can select the Toolbox Talks. I can translate from English to Spanish. I can do this for most places throughout the software if I'd like or if I need. And really conveniently, what we can do is we can assign this to certain roles, very customizable. These are whatever roles adapt to your company. Send this out immediately, or we can schedule this out. So it's a really nice piece, especially for those that are, safety isn't your full-time job. If you're wearing a couple hats, or simply you're a safety director and you got a whole bunch going on, this is really nice in which we can schedule Toolbox Talks out. We can plan and review all of these items and save quite a bit of time so that you can do more with the little time that you do have. In this case, we're going to go ahead and schedule this Toolbox Talk for 7:30 on the 15th. And it's as easy as hitting submit. You don't have to worry about the team coming back into the office. That's a big component we see. Hey, you know what? I'm tired of stopping into the HQ every day to just pick up a couple of pieces of paper and then collecting those back on the other end's a real pain in the rear. Nice and easy. We can schedule items out in advance. You can see what's scheduled. It'll save your team time and effort. They'll be really happy that they can save all of that, that effort that is involved with the paper Toolbox Talks. Nice pieces. I just scheduled that out in advance because I always typically do that by accident. They'll get a nice notification right in their application, as well as an email follow-up. So you can certainly do that. Let the team know, what they'll be assigned for the day, what they want to review. And once they've reviewed a Toolbox Talk, they can simply, well, I guess maybe let's go ahead. I'll show you guys how we can do a toolbox talk in here briefly also. So I'll go back to that same wire ropes cable clip example we were using. All I have to do is hit this big yellow button. We really make this easy to use for the team. You can select whether or not you want to require certain fields like project, company, division. But what's nice, especially since we're trying to focus on this from a field perspective, there's a lot of areas in which we can preload information, and all they have to do is select one item and it'll make it nice and easily organized at the end. So I'll go ahead. I've obviously conducted this toolbox talk with the team, collect some signatures here. I'll go ahead and add Bill, maybe I'll add Sam. Great. They've signed off on this. We could take some photos, what have you. If you're a GC, there's some really cool options too, as far as how we can handle subs in here. So would love to talk to you in more detail about that also. But all they have to do is hit submit, right? They went through, they reviewed the toolbox talk, and they got record of who attended. They hit submit, and they were ready to roll. Back in the office or out in the field, we can pull this up at any time. So here's that toolbox talk, really basic example. We have a really good copy of this, and I hope this shows up on my presentation screen. But you can see here we can present a nice PDF. This would have your name and logo. We can customize it, what have you. But the best part is based on how we organize these forms, we selected project for that. It's automatically going to be organized on the back end. So if I want to see any of my toolbox talks related, I don't know, I'll pick anything for the month of July. And maybe this customer or the GC on this AMD bridge project is asking me for all my toolbox talks. Perfect. Here's all my toolbox talk. I can grab them. I can send them off. You're ready to roll. Additionally, and I won't spend too much time on this because most of the focus again here is out in the field, but you have some really cool tools for the, for the admin, or maybe, you can use this in the field if you'd like also, to see how the team's doing. So I can go ahead, set up a rule, say I want my team to complete a toolbox talk once per week. I can go through, review that. I'll go to the back here. Great. I've done 3 this week. I can see when I've done it. If I want to notify some individuals or maybe anyone who hasn't completed that, from right here, I can notify my team and remind them that they need to get this completed. They need to stay on top of those toolbox talks. You can also do things like route in managers. And if I want, I can see, how people are doing from a big picture perspective as well. We also have some other reports to show attendance if you want to see attendance by individual, things like that as well too. So really handy, especially for some incentive programs and so forth, but not as much a field focused item. So I don't want to stray too far. Once we get back into this, there's plenty more we can do with toolbox talks. But the really unique feature with SafetyHQ is that all of these forms that we have in here are fully customizable. Now, the nice piece is they're going to work and feel a lot like, the toolbox talks. If you learn how to do one thing in SafetyHQ, you can work through this whole thing. Again, really emphasizing on the ease of use. But in order to make the form completion from your team more effective, it really starts at the form level to make sure that these forms are easy and simple to access. If you give them a JHA, or if you give them a site inspection or a vehicle inspection or whatever the form is, it could be any of these. We have really good templates for you to start off of if you don't have any templates, or maybe you have one that you've been using for 10 years. Send it to us, we'll get that put in here. But the key is, if I do something like a JHA in this example, I'll select the project I'm working on. I'll pick, a couple of tasks that we're going to be reviewing for the day. But based on the tasks that I select, and this is what makes SafetyHQ really powerful, based on the tasks I've selected, it's only going to show me the related hazard types. And again, these are all customizable. I cut mine down quite a bit just simply because I don't want to overwhelm any of you guys reviewing this. But you can review here, say, hey, we're dealing with probably not cold weather in the middle of August here, but based on the tasks that I've selected, it's going to show me the particular hazards. And then right from here, it's going to show me mitigation controls. So Makes the form really easy. They don't have to think, oh, okay, am I forgetting some things, what have you. They simply make the selections that you need. They can make comments, collect signatures. We can snap a photo. We can mark those photos up if you want to highlight certain areas or things like that. You can do all of that through SafetyHQ and make the entry process very simple and easy for the team out in the field, so that not only are they getting these items completed, they're getting them completed accurately, but most importantly, they're saving time and effort. You know, the more time they do that, the safer they're going to be, because they are not rushing through these items. They're actually taking that information in, focusing it, and sharing it with the team. So I show you that as a JHA. That's a quick example. I know everyone's kind of looks a little bit different, but the other thing that I'd like to show you here is, I'll show you two quick things. I think this accident report is kind of fun, not because accidents are fun, they're far from it, but you can see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 questions on here. But this is where we get into simplifying the task for the team in the field. Typically, let's use a vehicle accident as an example. If a vehicle accident occurs, your team's going to undoubtedly be a little flustered. There's a lot going on there. It's going to be hard to really get information from them. So that's why these forms that are adaptive and responsive really come in handy. So if I pick that this is a vehicle-related accident, great. The form's going to expand. It's going to ask me different questions. It's going to guide, and guide is the key word for all these forms. It is going to guide them through what they need to complete. You know, in this case, maybe there was 2 other vehicles involved. It is guiding them through with different questions based on the responses that they're putting in so far. Again, just like our toolbox talks and things like that, these will all be consolidated. We can review these any which way, you know, shape and form we need. We can put, you know, reporting rules on all of these to make sure that they're getting completed. Would be happy to talk about that in more detail. But while we're in here, I did want to show one other item related to forms that might be relative or relevant for a lot of you folks out there, which would be the corrective action side. So again, all of these can change. You know, we can ask more questions based on responses, what have you. But when we get in here, you know, this is the one thing that I realize and hear from a lot of our clients is that, okay, great, it's good to get these items documented, but the follow-up is a whole nother animal. That's another area where we can really feel that we add a lot of value. So in this case, and I always use this example, first aid kit's not on the site. Some folks are reluctant to even mark this down because, hey, how are we going to get this addressed? But in this case, we'll say, hey, first aid kit's not on the site. We can add a corrective action right on the spot. We can say, you know, we can pre-populate this, say first aid kit's not on the site, great. I don't know, I'll put this to a project, fantastic. And I'll say, hey, I want Josh to address this situation. Josh, for whatever reason, he's gonna go get the first aid kit for us. And I want our project manager to be aware of this situation also. We can leave this open-ended. We can assign this a due date, what have you. But the nice piece is this is addressing all of the follow-up in one area. It's not sidetracking them from what they need to do. I can tag this, you know, for future reference if we want to do, you know, any record keeping. We have some, you know, some leading indicator reporting for you as well. But the nice piece is I've done this, I've assigned this out, great. I hit back to inspection. I can carry on right where I left off, and it's not stopping me. I don't have to send an email. I don't have to mark all this up. They're getting the notification automatically. I'm completing this form as I need. So again, all these forms PDF, they're all, you know, searchable. You've seen a lot of that, and I'd be happy to show you guys in more detail. But the nice piece is, here we are, corrective actions. I can review any of these items. You know, if I'm Josh, who that got assigned to, I can see anything that's assigned to me. I see a lot of people do this for equipment inspections. You know, it's really easy for a mechanic to go in here and say, hey, show me anything that came from an equipment inspection, or show me anything assigned to me. Maybe you got a lot of things going on. This is a good place to review all of the types of issues you have. And we have some really nice graphical reporting to show you, you know, trends, things like that, other items that are coming up, give you a handle so you can be proactive on your safety program as a whole. So I'm going through this quickly again. I apologize, folks. So I'd love to talk into more detail if you'd like about any of these forms, what we can do, but really customizable. We will build these for you if you don't want to use our templates. That's included in the subscription. That is a fantastic opportunity for those of you guys that already have forms or required to, you know, complete a certain type of form, what have you. Perfect. I could spend all day on here, but unfortunately, we'll have to probably keep moving, you know, to show you guys a little bit more of how we can simplify things for the field. I'll keep moving down here, working on to the SDS section. This is another great way, right? I know a lot of you guys are out there saying, yeah, we have our SDSs out there, but I don't know how updated the binder is. And if something actually does occur, I don't know how often they're referencing it, what have you. The nice piece is I can easily search for something, whether it's by, you know, a particular product type. I'm in here in Cleveland, so we're gonna like search Sherwin-Williams. Great. It's an adaptive search, so you don't need anything in particular. It'll take this based on certain levels of details. Helps you find it. We got a really extensive library for you guys to use and review. And if you ever need anything, maybe you add a new product, something along those lines, you can request that SDS from us as well, and we will reach out to that manufacturer and make sure that that product is included in that library. So again, when we're talking about making the team safer on the site, it's really bulky getting through a big binder. If they run into something, they can access the information quickly, easily, and effectively. And then we have some audit information in the background to show how often people have been going in here and checking these items and so forth. I always give the example, I was sealing my driveway the other day, and I was able to go right in here on the spot because I got something in my eye, and great. I was able to, like every SDS, it's, you know, flush with copious amounts of water, or blah, 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 blah. But it was on my phone. I could pull it up right there on the spot, all the information I need. Now, this is going to trend a little bit towards the back office, maybe not as much the field, but still something to keep in mind. You can create trainings in here, share trainings, put in videos of trainings. Maybe this is a new hire orientation. Maybe this is a particular type of training that you want to review for your company, what have you. You can assign this training out to folks that are in the field. Maybe they're far away from the home office and you want to communicate some training to them. You can require them to take a quiz afterwards. And the nice piece is when they complete that training, it is automatically updated within our certifications area. So if you complete a training on, I don't know, hazard communication, great. If you complete that hazard communication training, it will automatically be updated in here. We can check and review when items are going to expire, what's valid, what isn't expired. If you are doing trainings as a big group, maybe you have you have somebody, a consultant come onto the site, what have you. You can bulk upload these trainings so you don't have to necessarily administer them via that lessons module. You can allow folks to update information themselves or on a single basis. So, you know, either you want somebody out in the field to be able to update, say, a drug screening, or you want them to go to their foreman and they update that. It saves them a whole heck of a lot of time rather than running this stuff back and forth to the office. What you can go ahead and do is take a photo of that certificate, put in all this information, and they're updated right from the site. So saves quite a bit of time for them as well. In here, we can do a lot. I'll go ahead and use this as an example. If we want to take a photo of a card, we can present that, you know, should OSHA come to the site and want to review information. We can share trainings via QR code, email. We can produce and print certificates. We can check and review. Maybe I want to see who's going to expire in the next 90 days on fall protection or first aid CPR because you have someone coming in to train. We can. I can grab multiple employees and grab their training list if I want. You know, maybe I want to print out all of the certifications and trainings for a batch of employees. I can do that. And then the newest feature that we've added has been the certification warnings, which is a great way. You know, you can do this by division. You can do this for the company as a whole. But we can automatically say, hey, SafetyHQ, I want you to look forward 100 days and notify James of anyone who's going to expire in the next 100 days or who is expired. Perfect. Automatic email coming to you once a month, letting you know who's expiring. So not as much the field there, but there is some elements where we can certainly review this information out on the job site if we need. Again, when we're talking about simplifying things for the job site, one key component is documents and information. You know, we have the whole form side, but if I want to go to a job itself, we have the ability to include, key information like hospital address, what have you. We can see an overview of, corrective actions or mitigations. We can also include key elements like documents. Maybe it's a safe entry plan. Maybe it's a site-specific safety plan. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's just some plans that you want on this site. You can include documents here for them to review. Could be PDFs, could be anything you need here, but really nice place to consolidate information that you need the team to access out on the site. And this also includes things like an information or an equipment overview. So if you want to see pieces of equipment that are overdue, pieces of equipment that are assigned to a job, we can certainly do that as well. I can dig into this equipment. I'll touch on this, kind of on a brief perspective here. This whole equipment item starts right at the form level. We can complete an inspection. We can walk them through with photos, answer particular questions, route those, with a task list and corrective actions. But right in here, we can check and see what items are overdue, what piece of equipment is assigned to either what job, employee, or what have you. All throughout here, we can track and maintain what's going to be overdue in the near future, what pieces of equipment need attention. Maybe we have a recall. We can grab any Ford or something like that too. All of your equipment can even be managed in one place here to make sure you're staying on top of those inspections and maintenance items, whatever you might need. I mentioned the documents before. We have a full document storage library. This is for your team to access and review. No data storage limits, a really good place wherever your team's at for them to access and review information that might be either project specific or maybe it's just reference material that's good to have wherever they might be working. And on our whirlwind tour here, as we kind of come up to the half-hour mark, we do have one other component that I'd like to show you, which would be incident reports. What's cool about incident reports is you'll see here some really basic information. I always tell people not enough for a full incident report, but what's neat is once this gets completed, automatic notification to whomever whoever is next in line. That'll let us know, hey, an incident's occurred. It'll pre-populate this form with all of those details that they put in out the field. And then whoever's next in line can then get treatment information, days away from work, root cause analysis, witness information, all that kind of stuff. We got some photos in here, whatever that may be. Not as much a field item, but you also have some really strong reporting in here to show you details on those, give you an overview of incidents you've had, maybe the cause or area of those injuries by company, whatever it might be. You got a really strong reporting option in here. And this will even generate an OSHA 300A for you at the end of the day. Again, not as much a field related item, but all you have to do is click this. I'll just do it while we're in here. All you have to do is click that button and there you go. You got the OSHA 300A right there for you to review. So I think that's a little bit of everything. I do want to take some time for those that have questions. I see a couple coming up and I apologize. We might run over a hair here, guys. I do want to be respectful of your time coming up to the end of the hour, but good question here from, I can't quite see it. I think it's Catherine. I apologize if I'm wrong there, but can a JHA be signed off on by a GF when in offline mode if they're in an area with no cell service? That's a great question. Absolutely. So we can use all these components in offline mode in the forms section. You can complete these in offline mode. It will automatically sync and populate once you get into an area with cell service. And what's unique about SafetyHQ is the permissions. We can allow certain people to go back and edit documents. So if you only, if you want people to be able to edit a JHA, you can do that. If you don't want them to be able to edit it because of their role or their permissions, you can also limit that from them from doing that as well. So absolutely, we can do things in offline mode, carry them forward in online mode as we get back into self-service, things like that. And then we're right at the top of the hour, guys. So we're at the half hour, which is, I know we're scheduled for 30 minutes. So if you do have any additional information, you want to learn more about SafetyHQ, I would be happy to do a one-on-one demo. I have some more in-depth webinars that go almost the full hour and so forth too. I'm happy to share those with you. But again, my name is Eric Vitardi. Feel free to reach out after this call. Give us a buzz at 800-246-0800. Heck, you can call us in 5 minutes. We can talk shortly after this if you'd like also. But I did want to answer the last question here, before we got to run at 1:30 for those of you in Eastern time. The last question here, am I limited by admins or who can access the system? Nope, that's another good question. We can limit the roles however you see need, and however you feel they're needed. There's a second part to this question, which is really important as far as can they see other jobs? Am I limited for what admins can and can't do? You can limit folks to say, hey, I only want my foreman to see the job they're working on, great. But we don't limit you as far as how many admins you are. It's no additional charge if you want multiple admins, whatever. Your rights and your permissions throughout the system are completely up to you. And that kind of goes with SafetyHQ as a whole. We try and make this a really customizable, easy to use solution. If we're not making safety easier for you, we're not adding too much value. So I think we do a really good job of simplifying the process, customizing it to what matters to you, and that goes all the way down to permissions and rights, like Joseph asked here as well. Well, cool. Thank you so much, everybody. I really do appreciate the time. If you have any questions, again, Eric Vitardi here at SafetyHQ. Feel free to give us a ring, shoot us an email. My email, again, is edv@foundationsoft.com. I would be happy to help with any of your SafetyHQ needs, wants, or questions. So thanks all. Have a wonderful afternoon, wonderful end of your morning, depending on where you're at. And I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks.